Looks like we've got it going. Ka pai. This week, we are starting a very important part of our programming, and that is kia ora Gina. That is regular open sessions that is built into the Reset Your Money Thermostat program. And for the first part, for the first couple of weeks, I'm going to do them as open sessions either here on Facebook or in the events on Facebook. They're going to have 3 themes. And at the moment, I've just given those themes very explicit labels so that they're kind of really obvious to understand until we're used to the experience, and then we can find another name for it. But the 3 things I'm going to focus on in our virtual space is grief, loss, and creativity. And so I'd just love to say, first of all, thank you to those of you who are joining via Facebook and those of you who are joining via YouTube, like Gina is today. So grief, hope, and creativity are spaces that I want to open up via video, and there is no structure as such, like you don't have to book in, but you are able to listen passively, engage if you're interested, but experience a sense of being able to park your raru or your grief or your loss or feelings that are holding you back from moving on with your week and achieving your purpose. So that's our grief center. Hope is where we facilitate with one of our coaches a way to build a plan forward for yourself. You get to do that. And we just hold the space. And creativity is something, it's a strategy that I thought, well, I should share it. If I should share it with all the people that follow me, because one of the main ways I've been able to deal with loss and grief and stop it from getting in the way of what I achieve in life in terms of money and homes and feeling successful and feeling abundant has been creativity and indulging in making or creating or fixing and moving it through the body, moving stuck feelings through the body by being creative. And for anybody who thinks that these 3 things don't have a place in talking about money and talking about finances and talking about home ownership, you're probably in the wrong space, following the wrong person, because our problems of loss communally as an Indigenous people, in my view, from the position I come from, is from collective land loss, culture loss, reo loss, loss of language. And so even if we aren't realizing that we have our own loss right at the front of our minds, we have probably inherited or are experiencing inherited loss, inherited grief. And for those of you who need a more direct way of me explaining what that means to you, when you have inherited a certain set of behaviors in relation to money, and so you spend it all the time, or you can't hold on to it, or you don't feel abundant in money and finances and wealth, think back to the attitudes that you were surrounded with in the home. What did they tell you about money? What were the experiences you had in the home in regards to wealth? What does wealth look like for you based on what you saw or heard in the home as you grew up? When you sat around the kai table to have dinner as you were growing up, what conversations happened at that kai table when in your family? Even though it was normal, now you have a chance to link back into those conversations and think and recall what were the attitudes in the corridor around wealth, money, and around finances, around saving, around home ownership and owning property. Only if you feel safe, to do so and you're feeling strong, just link yourself back into those thoughts, to those experiences, and see if, connect to whether any of your behaviors that you have now, do they reflect any of those belief systems that you grew up around? What about in your iwi and your hapu? Are there land grievances? Are there grievances or loss within your whānau, within your hapu line? This is loss. These can be inherited forms of grief that we inherit and we carry with us in our current ourself, in our current life. We weren't there when the treaty was signed, and we weren't there when a lot of the lands confiscations occurred, and we weren't there for the fallout between whānau members, and we weren't there when our tupuna or grandparents or parents lost their home and their money and their properties. We often weren't there, but sometimes we carry the feelings of loss and being as hurt as the people who experience that loss. I'm going to pop into the comment section. Okay. As you can see there, this is a virtual grief center that I'm going to open up weekly. Weekly as often as I can, as a space for you to emotionally, anyway, you don't have to write anything, but a space for you to park your feelings of grief and loss, whether they are inherited from how you feel in general about money, wealth, abundance, finances. Okay, have a moment with us, park it here, just have the facilitated conversation going along beside you while you're driving. And I'm going to also pop into the comments a link to our, I'll just pop it in anyway. You'll see it in there. If you're looking on YouTube. Otherwise, I don't know if Facebook will let me post it yet. But a place for you to be able to come and make comment and hold your story, and we won't use it for anything at all, but in case you may want to work with a coach at some stage in the future, me or one of my team, but not right now. But you want to park your story, you can do so in a safe place. We won't use that information unless it's for you to book a time with us to come and kōrero. And I am a property valuer, and I specialize in home ownership for Māori families and whenua Māori. So coaching will be in the context of if you want to go and discover some success and abundance along that journey, that type of journey. Home ownership, whenua Māori, resetting your money thermostat. Ka pai? And so just for the next few minutes, kia ora tawake, tēnā koe. I'm going to just pop me on in the background if you like. I'm going to go talk through some questions that I want to plant with you, so that any of your losses and grief, if they're inherited from your whānau or your tupuna or your iwi and your hapu, so past grievances, we can start having a practice of inside you knowing that you are allowed to park those inherited grievances and feelings of loss somewhere, emotionally at least, somewhere else for the week. Okay? They're not ours, but the feeling of letting go of them is a practice. And sometimes that practice only lasts a few seconds. Sometimes it eventually lasts a day or an hour. And our practice over time throughout this journey this year is to learn how to emotionally uncouple ourselves from other people's grief, from other people's loss, from other generations' hurts, just for enough time for you to start looking after yours. And that is, trust me, the biggest part of dealing with your money and your feeling of wealth and finances, or with your dreams of home ownership. The greatest thing you can do is learn to just uncouple the emotions and the loss of others from you. Okay? And then we can just start parking it here in this moment each week at the beginning of the week. And then you can get on with the week or the day or the hour. And within a space of letting go of others and letting go of other raru that you can't address right now in your life or in your moment, you have just that little bit extra energy for you and a little bit more time to focus on the obstacles that you have that is keeping you disconnected from your goal: money, finances, abundance, home ownership, or moving on to your whenua. Okay? So, I give you permission in this space, whether you engage by comments or not is not my concern. But just inside of you, just have a kōrero with yourself. What is it that you want to focus on today in the next few minutes together? What is it that you would like to walk away with? What does success look like for you? And perhaps it could be as simple as let's keep it in context of what you normally come to watch and experience on my page. And let's say it's to do with this week. I would like to not feel stressed about my money. Success would look like not feeling stressed about money. Success could look like having more money. So whatever it is, just practice saying inside yourself or out loud what success looks like. Just in case you might be someone who is perpetually worried, and there might not be anything to worry about, and you might be living the life of your dreams right now, but you could be a bit stuck somewhere. And so saying out loud, knowing what success looks like for you, is the first way to be successful and to feel abundant and to thrive. Okay? So I'd just like you to talk to yourself about that, identify what you'd like to work on this week or today or this moment, and then what success looks like. That's all. Well, you know where you're going, all right? So now the part is this time and place that I'm setting aside each week, just another couple of minutes, is to hold with what is holding you back. Say those things out loud. Be specific for yourself. What is holding you back? Sometimes what is holding you back is part of what could be giving you an everyday incremental experience of loss and grief. I say this because when you aren't honoring yourself daily, and then it turns into weekly, and then it turns into a monthly, and then it turns into a lifetime of not honoring yourself. Even if you are saying, I'm okay, that just stays inside of your body as resentment. It could look like resentment. It can look like grief and sadness, because the one person who can always look after themselves is yourself, and you're not doing that. You're allowing an obstacle to stay right there. Perhaps that's just trying to get you into the practice of thinking and provoking yourself about, why are these challenges that are stopping you from getting to your success, why are they still there? And if they keep being there, sometimes they can only remain there if we aren't honoring our own safety, our own goals, and our own success. and our right as people to survive and thrive. And so, if in this moment, in this short session together, you are able to say something out loud to yourself and admit something to yourself, then you may feel great, you may feel triumphant. You may also experience some grief. And this moment is just your moment set aside each week for someone outside of you to have a conversation with you, that it's okay to experience that loss, resentment to yourself, resentment to others, sadness, grief, the experience of loss. Or what is it to you? Naming it and defining it for you. Okay. So this moment, as we come to the end, it's just to say, park it, park your grief in this moment. You can come back to it. You can come back to it later. There's so many other days to come back to it. But right now, this is Monday, and you've got some goals to achieve. You've got some success to have. Okay. And just give yourself the gift of having a little bit more energy to put towards that, focus on that goal and that success. Take out the grief, park it here in this moment, or whenever you're watching this video, park it here, leave it here. You can come back and get it later. I'll come back next Monday as well, and you can come back and get your grief and your sadness and your loss from this moment. But leave it here with the virtual me in this virtual grief center. And I'll set these up so that we have them publicly for now, but eventually privately with our enrolled participants. Leave your grief here. Unpack it when you're strong and ready. But refocus the energy and the space you've been giving to that grief, whether it's inherited or whether it's yours in this current lifetime. Repackage that energy and that focus and put it towards that commitment you made to yourself just a few minutes ago about what success looks like for you. Okay. At another stage, we'll talk about being realistic and incremental improvement, which is very key. That's not having huge goals, but many small goals, so that you start relearning the feeling of being successful is achieving small goals, little bit by little bit, not huge goals. That sometimes I wonder if people set themselves up to fail because they like failing, or they're addicted to the certainty of failing. And sometimes huge goals are part of the addiction to failing, because failing, or knowing you're definitely going to fail, can give you a sense of certainty and stability, which can feel nice to people, can feel better than uncertainty and taking risks. We'll talk about that another time. For now, park your worries here. Park your grief and your loss here. Okay, just going to have a look. I've just got a comment here. I'm happy with the bills being met and holding the rest of my money till next week and not spending unnecessarily. What an amazing goal. I can feel the incremental smallness of it. You know, it's holding it until next week rather than all year. I've got another one here. Walking away, selling up and paying all debt and starting fresh from zero. Just naming it and talking about what success looks like. Not whether it's right or wrong. It's not that. It's having the faith in yourself, the gift to know that you can park your grief your loss, and all the things that aren't going well right here in these sessions in this moment, and giving yourself the gift of one step towards your success. Okay. That's our virtual grief center for today. Wednesday or Friday, we'll go holding our virtual hope center, where we dwell a little bit more and stretch yourself to embrace senses of hope, success, and the future. Followed by probably Friday, our creativity center. So just holding some space to create together virtually, so that it's in your calendar and in your awareness that you have to be creative. Hold space for those parts of yourself, is where all your healing is. So coming out of your head, all our money problems and our land problems and home ownership problems aren't actually, the answers aren't here, or the problems aren't always here. The problems are often in the memories, emotions, things like that, in the heart and in the body. So let's get them all aligned. Ka pai, see you all on Wednesday for our virtual Hope Centre. Mori ora.